Welcome back to another explainer. Today, we are taking a widely misunderstood financial milestone and completely reframing it. You know, most people view this big number as a grueling finish line. But by the time we wrap up here, we're going to fundamentally change how you view this ultimate savings milestone. We're going to show you exactly what happens when your hard-earned capital stops being just a static number sitting in an account and starts becoming an active, working participant in your life.
Okay, let's dive into this. Have you ever actually stopped to ask yourself, when does your money really start working for you? We hear that catchphrase all the time, right? Make your money work for you. But man, during those early days of saving, it feels like a slow uphill grind. You are doing literally all the heavy lifting. You're trading your precious time and energy for every single dollar, tucking it away, and then just watching it grow at a snail's pace. It can feel incredibly discouraging. But today, we need to completely challenge that mindset, because there is a very specific, undeniable mathematical point where that entire dynamic flips on its head.
And that exact point, it's $100,000. Now I know, for a lot of people, hitting six figures is viewed as this monumental, exhausting finish line. It's like this massive summit that takes years of strict budgeting and sacrifice just to reach. But if we really want to understand the true mechanics of wealth, we need to flip that script completely. This number, it isn't the end, not even close.
It is actually the starting line. It's the precise threshold where your saved money officially begins working a full-time job. See, before this point, compound interest is basically just a trickle. I mean, it's a nice concept, sure, but it doesn't really change your daily life or your financial reality in any noticeable way. But right at $100,000, that little trickle transforms into a tangible working asset. Your money essentially puts on a hard hat, punches a time card, and starts clocking in right alongside you. Actually, it's more like it becomes your hardest working coworker.
Just think about how you and I earn money right now. We work tirelessly for a salary, but we're limited by the hours in a day, our need to sleep, and just our basic biological energy levels, right? We take vacations, we get sick, and eventually we will retire. But your saved capital, it brilliantly generates a salary while you sleep. It doesn't get tired, it doesn't need a coffee break, it doesn't ask for weekends off. It is a tireless 24/7 entity that just works continuously, totally unbothered by human physical limits.
Right at this threshold, your money generates a legitimate salary of $8,000 a year, literally while you sleep. And I really want to emphasize the word legitimate here. This isn't just some theoretical spreadsheet math that makes you feel warm and fuzzy but does absolutely nothing for your actual wallet. No, it's a real, usable, impactful salary being generated entirely in the background. You don't clock in for it, you don't exert an ounce of physical or mental effort to get it. It is a completely independent, autonomous second income stream.
Now, it's super easy to get caught up in the fun metaphor of your money having a job, so let's anchor this in reality for a second and break down the math. Because once you see the step-by-step mechanics of how this actually works, you literally cannot unsee it.
Let's move along and see exactly how this builds. Step 1, you reach that $100,000 foundation. Step 2, you apply a standard 8% return. And Step 3, that combination automatically generates that $8,000 annual salary. It's just a remarkably elegant formula that takes the capital you've already worked so hard to accumulate and immediately puts it right back to work on your behalf.
Let's actually pause on that 8% for just a second. I mean, it looks like a modest, totally unassuming single digit, doesn't it? When you apply it to a small bank balance, it feels like pennies, like barely enough to buy you a cup of coffee at the end of the year. But applied to a critical mass like $100,000, that single digit transforms into a massive, unstoppable force multiplier for your entire financial life.
And that brings us right back to the $8,000. Seriously, take a moment and genuinely visualize what a completely passive, fully autonomous $8,000 annual salary would mean for your life right this second. That covers months of rent or mortgage payments, or it could fully fund a phenomenal vacation for you every single year. You could upgrade your grocery runs to include all those premium snacks you usually skip. And honestly, the most mind-blowing part, your money did all the heavy lifting to earn it, not you.
Now, what's really interesting here is that when you compare the principal balance to this brand new passive salary, you can immediately grasp just how substantial that $8,000 chunk of new money really is. After just 1 year, it is no longer some microscopic sliver like it is when you first start out saving. It is a highly visible, highly impactful piece of the whole pie that your portfolio generated entirely on its own.
Which leads us to a fascinating shift in the psychology of money. Hitting this mark isn't just about completing some math equation. It represents the real, actual beginning of serious wealth building. Before this threshold, you're basically just accumulating. You're just stacking bricks. But after it, the momentum shifts dramatically, and financial gravity finally starts pulling in your direction instead of constantly fighting against you.
So, this brings up a really critical question. Why do wealthy people see this milestone so completely differently from everyone else? There's a massive psychological gap here. The average saver looks at $100,000, feels the immense fatigue of the years it took to scrape it together, and thinks, man, I'm exhausted. I finally made it to the finish line. But a wealthy person? They look at this exact same threshold with intense excitement, because they know the absolute hardest, slowest part of the journey is officially over, and the compounding machine is finally fully operational.
So, the crucial point to take away from all this, the core wealth-building mindset, is this. $100,000 is the starting line, not the end. Your money now has a full-time job. It autonomously generates an $8,000 salary, and serious wealth building has officially begun. Truly understanding these 4 distinct facts is exactly what separates the people who are constantly working for their money from the people whose money works for them.
Which leaves us with one final, very provocative thought to end our explainer on today. How quickly can you get your money to the starting line so it can start working its full-time job? Because now that you understand the profound mathematical and psychological shift that happens at this exact threshold, the goal shouldn't just be to eventually reach it someday. No way. The goal should be to get there as efficiently as humanly possible. Because every single day your money isn't at the starting line is a day it isn't clocking in to work for you. Thank you so much for joining me, and whatever you do, keep that starting line squarely in your sights.